I'm telling you, that spirit needs to be fed. And I'm glad that we talking like that because this is part two of his and hers and what is a happy home. This is Fam Talks, y'all. Cuz and I are back on it again,
Again,
up in it to win.
to win.
Please go tell your great grandmama and her ex best friend.
Fam Talks, everybody. As Cuz said, this is part two, man. We had a lot to talk about with that last session.
So much. An
Here's
hour
a-
goes by so quick.
It blew past. We remember at the beginning we said, how long we gonna talk about this? It's gonna take up the whole hour? And he was like, yeah, I think it's gonna take up the whole hour. I blinked and we turned around and looked at the clock and I said, oh Lord.
Over an hour.
It is, didn't it? But his and hers life in the home. And we didn't finish. I didn't get to say what I wanted to say last time 100%. It wasn't clear because I'm sure I had a lot to say as well to a lot more to the show. But we back at y'all today. It is October 12th.
2023.
Yeah, this is a tough couple days for me. I had to tell Christy earlier today. She just comes at me so much sometimes. It's so heavy in the morning. And I was like, Chrissy, all right. I said, I got on my mama. You know what I mean? I don't want you to completely come at me as much as you normally do. Calm down. She was kind of looking at me and said, why? I said, well, October 11th was my mama's birthday. You know what I mean? So I said, I had to deal with that yesterday. And as I
I
was
didn't know
doing,
that, cuz.
as I said, I was doing what I was doing. I had to shoot up, happy birthday. You know what I'm saying? Kept going. Finishing off my day. And today, a year ago, I lost my granddaughter. So, you know what I mean? The October 11th and the 12th is always tough time. You know what I mean? But I keep it together. Yesterday I was watching, and this is kind of off topic, but I was watching this and I was so, I want to call it motivated, but I was, something came over me watching it, but it was a clip that came across, unfortunately, on Facebook. And what that damn place is, TikTok. So TikTok and Facebook is always doing their thing, and I happened to just watch this clip, and this clip was of a guy who was working in the State Department. He had the United States seal behind him, and he goes up there and he looks, and the first thing comes out of his mouth, cousin, was, "I apologize for being late, but my wife just died. So I'm here today to get this going, so we can get this over with. Just so your first questions or whatever on the table, let's go ahead and go." And then the reporters came in with, "Man, I'm sorry to hear that. You know what I mean? And you're here." And he made the comment. He said, "I'd like to drop below this podium right now and break down."
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Because it's a feeling I've never felt before, and I don't understand it. Not only did his wife die, one of his kids was in critical condition, and the other one lost a leg.
Mm-hmm.
All in the same car accident. And this man was standing in front of a podium to address this news." These news reporters, and he just looked at him and said, "The world don't stop. It is a tragic thing, but the world don't stop." And I thought about that too. And I said, and it reflected, because like I said yesterday, everything I've been going through the last couple of days, it reflected on me, and it was just like, I remember Uncle Jimmy saying to me, when my mama passed and we went through the whole thing, at the end of it, he looked at me, grabbed me on my shoulder. I looked at him, I'm like, "What's up, Uncle?" And he's like, "I've been watching you through this whole thing." He said, "I just want to tell you I'm proud of you." And I'm like, "What you mean? Like, what do you mean?" And he said, "Well," he said, you held it together." He said, you never. I just kind of looked at him and I giggled, you know what I mean? And what that was to me was, this man don't know me. You know what I mean? His own nephew. That's that separation where family members, once again, which is part of what I'll go into, it ties into, to segue into this topic of today. Sometimes when the family gets twisted, you know what I mean? When there's a breakup, when someone comes into a woman comes in and she changes the lifestyle of a man, the man changes. In the Bible, it states that the couple is to be married, and then the woman is to go away from the family and go away with the man.
Well, a certain kind of man, and I almost hate to say man, but a certain kind of male, his anchor changes. When you get with a certain kind of woman and she knows how to cater to your ego, basically manipulate you, Because a good woman wants to celebrate you and help you be more of who you are called to be, your purpose. She's concerned with your character and you being the best you can be.
I like to celebrate you. When you say celebrate you, that's key.
Now, it's
key.
another
Like,
kind of male that while he's still trying to find his way, and ain't nothing wrong with a man trying to find his way, but while he's in that vulnerable stage because he don't have his own to put his feet down, far as that certain thing that a woman will honor enough to let you lead her, so that you can, because she wants to learn how to follow you if she can't. It's brand new to most women these days. It's the whole concept of following a man. She'll give him the keys to the shed and to the bedroom, and she'll allow him to come into the kitchen. But the keys to the entire castle, that's her children, her soul, her future, her, what you call her, what do they call it? They got to protect their, it's like life insurance for later on, their security for later.
Oh yes, definitely.
For her to
sure.
hand you all that,
Oh, yeah.
that's, you got to be a certain kind of already on your feet kind of man.
Well, I don't see that being actually ever anymore.
I think you can reach that place with a certain kind of woman.
I don't think anymore. The change in, I don't even call it society, you know what I'm saying? But women these days have made a point to, to me, I think it's overstressed because, you know what I'm saying, you can't, and this is only the men in the past did look away from you, treat you like whatever. I understand that. You know what I mean? They kept you in the kitchen, that's where you need to stay. You know what I mean? And it was sometimes by force. And I get that, you know what I mean? I understand that. I'm against that. But I do believe that women have taken, they have taken advantage of the situation, to me. You know what I mean? Because, like, well, because
it's a thin line.
Well, yeah, because I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, overstep it. And the reason why I say that is because when a woman gets in power,
say that.
She then remembers, just like an elephant always remembers. She remembers everything that she's gone through and everybody, what they've done to her. And then it reflects.
Oh, it's in her.
Yeah, it reflects everything that every decision that she makes going forward.
Her mama passed it down to her.
Yeah.
It's in their DNA.
Well, I just look at it and see, and some men do the same thing too. Like, you know what I mean? When you
For
get
sure.
into power, I've seen a guy get into power and turn to a different person.
For
and I
sure.
just stared at him like, who the heck is this guy?
Right.
You know what I mean? He don't understand it. He talks to people different. He treats people differently, everything.
See?
And that's a problem with most people. But the problem is that when women have what women had to fight for, the place in life and the place and position in life in which they are right now, they're there, but they're still heartbroken and
They drag that trauma and that pain
to
the next victim.
yes.
I'm not even gonna call it nothing. I won't say the next relationship, because first of all, y'all, this is such a beautiful opportunity to share this love with y'all. Let's talk to the Father real quick. Lord Jesus, we approach your throne with the greatest humility and appreciation, Father God. In the name of the Lord Yeshua HaMashiach, the Lord Jesus Christ, Son of the living God, we ask you to search our hearts and allow us to see ourselves, to challenge our selfishness and our lower sinful nature, that we have a desire to rise to the higher nature, to please you, to learn how to love ourselves and be honest and choose the truth over tradition, custom, every patriotism, everything, every state of mind that will cause distance between your pure company with us and us being with you. And we ask these things believing that you hear us because we want to be pleasing to you, Father God. It is in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, let me get that real quick. That real quick definition of relationship. The RE, as one could safely assume, it's a returning, it's a doing again, it's a coming back to a place again. The RE. The LAT, it's lateral. You can picture two lines coinciding, going with each other right? To visit that place again where two or more souls, go with each other, symbolizing movement, journey, destiny, destination. The T has always symbolized the cross, not just symbolizing what you think, but in agreement with that, the vertizontal reach, I call it, vertical from the spirit, the unseen, down to earth, down to man, and east and west. So it covers all the four corners of the earth. It is a statement about existence. So we got read, lat, I-O-N is what I'm on, lowercase I. And then the ship is the thing, the vessel that carries you across the deep places, the hidden dark mysteries, the secrets, and its witnesses that as far as we think we've come in technology today, we have only gone 6 miles down into the deep. They're already, what's up?
We're going backwards, cuz when you look at technology too, 'cause it's funny you say that too, because I don't want to change the
Oh
subject.
yeah, we are going backwards, but you know, by their design, they want us to think we've come as far as we've come.
Now, what do you know back in the day to cut holes in tombs in rock?
Laser cut,
Laser,
perfectly
like
aligned with the summer solstice and the star constellations.
Pyramids that are sitting there
that you can only see from space.
And they don't see, and the pyramids go down underground, and they can only go so far. Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
So now you know the real definition of relationship. If y'all run that back and listen to it a couple times, I promise it'll make sense. Your ship is sinking. You know, all these different phrases, they come from two souls, two or more souls, traveling on this journey, revisiting that place again, where we rely on a vessel or an apparatus to carry us and protect us from the unknown, the deep, the depths. And us being over 60 some odd % water, the whole thing, if you really get into it. So here we are trying to understand each other as men and women. And then every society, every empire, every people group that ever knew what they called temporary power rise to a certain level where the laws and the normalcy of what holds a middle finger up to the Most High God, the nerve to try and determine what is a man, what is a woman. A great man once said, "What is a woman? Your mama." There is no artificial intelligence that can. Come on, man. I don't even want to go into the womb and all that.
I want to touch back on something that you said there, kind of keyed in. When you said the word rely, and that's where I want to turn this conversation into rely. Man and women,
rely on each other.
right? Man, woman, rely on each other. Why? And I ask this question, and I ask you out there to answer this question for me, please. Why?
Why don't they anymore?
Well, why do we play with each other? You know what I mean? Male and female. Why is it such a game to each other too? You know what I mean? And that's where you end up in so many situations where when a woman gets with a man, and a man, a woman can't really depend on a man, a man can't depend on a woman. So that word rely, we in a situation,
right? But let me say this: a woman can depend on what's in a man. A man can depend on what's in a woman. The potential for us to live in reliance on what love is, when we know that love is supposed to reflect the heart of God towards his people, the church, the bride.
Right.
So if a man, now I'm not talking about a male, but if a man needs a clean conscience, if a man holds forgiveness and he runs a self-check on himself at least once a week, or if he's concerned, should I have acted or reacted in a better way? He checks himself. So he don't need that, because she already knows he needs a clean conscience. This is what constitutes his character. I chose a real one.
Yeah.
So is it choice? Is it her lack of knowing how to choose, or did she see a fixer-upper, and because of certain areas he lacks in, think she can either make him a better man for her own ego's sake, or somebody that's not so on it and mature that she can manipulate him and have her way?
It's expectation. It's expectation. The problem is that both come into the situation expecting something, and when you build something, you know, I tell you this right here. Do you think that all of those disciples in which, you know, the Messiah chose, expected him to choose them? Did they come into, were they born with the expectation? Was it written? Did they know? Did they grow up with their parents saying, hey, you know, one day you will be approached?
Oh, I'm sure they weren't. No, I don't think they thought he would choose them.
So the problem,
but they expected his arrival.
They expect, well, how did they expect his arrival?
Many places, they said, we found him. We found the one. Right. We found the Messiah.
But okay, the problem is, see, and that's the problem is, okay, the word fine. The expectation, what I'm saying here is in a relationship, the problem is that man and woman come together expecting a certain thing. You don't come into any kind of relationship expecting. When things happen, they happen for a reason. Because we can't control.
I'm going to challenge you.
Go right ahead.
When you get with a woman and y'all go, let's say, for your first date.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, because this is so common on them websites, man, that you all decide to go to a cafe and have coffee and a little intimate spot. They might play a little jazz in the background, maybe even live entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Someplace intimate and you can get to know each other, but still public where you're both comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Her idea of, well, I'm not going to front, impressing you or putting her best foot forward may be eyeliner, lip gloss, a little bit of facial, whatever they put on their face to make their skin look smoother, or, you know, smooth. She probably got her nails painted and then that one or two a different color. She might have on something that a woman would call cute because they listen to their girlfriends more than what we say we like. That's going to come up later, I'm sure. And maybe a little, you know, some nice heels or whatever, you know, Fashion Nova, whatever, all right, and some perfume. And she would expect you to notice that she has done herself up in respect of the date. I don't even know if it's necessarily you, because you just now find that's what a date is, right? You're just digging into each other like a job interview, really.
Right.
Okay, so me personally, I'm going to use that opportunity to tell her, I want to know who you are without makeup. So my idea for a first date would probably be something where we just need jeans and a t-shirt and maybe some little baby Jordans for her to, you know what I'm saying? Because if you wearing makeup and I'm talking about to the point where you are a totally different person without makeup. It's a mask. It's a costume. You're lying to yourself, but you're going to expect me to trust you when you lie to you.
Yeah.
You get my point?
Yeah, I've done that. I've been through quite a few different dates, and you know what I'm saying, when you get to that date, the woman is it's not the person who I saw at the beginning. And I've done this, and we'll go right back to, you know, online dating. I met a girl online, and we met at Tropical Smoothie. So we got a Tropical Smoothie, we're sitting there talking or whatever, and I'm looking at her, okay, first off, the problem with catfishing is so serious. This filter thing has gotten out of control. I'm looking like, and don't get me wrong, no, she was not bad looking at all. I was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? She is gorgeous to me. She kept herself up. She worked out all the time.
Maybe she didn't know it then.
Well, that's the problem. See, the expectation, we'll go back to expectation. Women think that men expect them to look a certain way,
right,
and therefore they run to the stores buy this
I'm
makeup.
telling you, they do that
buy
for
this
each other.
And that's true. They say like I
They
said,
never ask. I don't know one dude that really likes them big bat wings
dude,
that they put on their eyes. That is ridiculous.
I sit back and I look. The other day I was sitting there wondering, like, you know, we were getting ready to go to. It was we woke up something. I don't know where the hell we were going. We're going taking off somewhere. Quick run.
Yeah.
And then it was like, hold up. I'm like, hold up. What? Let's go. Let's go. I gotta put on some makeup. For what?
Right.
Why I gotta look? I said, oh my God, who are you looking good for?
Right.
I'm doing it for you. I didn't ask you to do it. That's that word.
Or they say they doing it for themselves.
Yeah, it's for me. I said, oh, okay. And see, and I understand it too. Like, I know men that go and spend hundreds of dollars on their personal makeup weekly. And you know what I mean? And what that does is it,
Men?
oh gosh, man, the barbershops are loaded with cats that go in there and spend, you know what I mean?
When I see a dude that did his eyebrows, I can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He might be a great guy that loves his family and volunteers at the local shelters.
Right.
But bruh, what is your motivation? What is your motivation? I think it boils down to motivation.
I don't know, because if you motivated to look a certain way, you've got that drive, and that's what you.
But do they? Okay, now I've told many a brother, hey, bruh, I see you, Pierre Cardin or Birkenstock or at all races. I have planted seeds everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
What's the Balenciaga? Yeah, all right. Or this dude coming out of Planet Fitness. All right, bro. But do your inside, do your heart match?
Right.
How you trying to appear?
The Cardis that they spending money on.
You know what I mean? How is your forgiveness? Is your self-inspection level? Is your conscience clean?
See, but that's that expectations. Everybody expects, and that's the problem. When in relationships, the problems in the home, the problem why relationships don't last is the expectations. You come in there expecting this dude to be a certain type of person, and when you realize he's not, you're disappointed. You expect this girl to do certain things, and when she's not, that's the problem. It's disappointment.
Well, that's what Mom told me. Shout out to you, baby. She told me don't date. You can date 5, 6 women at a time. Don't waste your energy in that. Find one woman that is worthy of courting, she told me. Of course, I didn't know what courting was. I was 8 years old when she told me that.
Courting. Nice.
You know, somebody worthy of your time and energy.
You know, see, and that's, oh God.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Certain things from the old school we need to
see,
embrace.
but this is the thing, though. When you say that, somebody who's worthy, how do
you find it out?
Yeah, but that's where it's at. And relationships can't flourish because they all start on sour ground. The foundation, the dirt in which they start in is spoiled. It's wrong. It doesn't have the correct water seed to grow.
You just described 2023.
Oh God!
Now
so
here
depressing.
I think, because here at Fam Talks, y'all, we don't just highlight the problem. We try to give you the solution. I think it lies in this. Number one, both souls, the man and the woman, even in your friendships, even in y'all's friendships, you must have a certain standard of life values. If I don't want the world to see what's sacred, this is a common thing among men, and I'm talking about real men. Well, even hoes and pimps, you get the average pervert. You could walk up and down Division or drive up and down Division and see all the hoes, but you kick that one that looked like she ain't really been on a stroll for too long, like she just broke down, and you know she trying to really feed her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna choose that one. Because as men, we want what's uncommon. You know why we make such a big deal out of vintage cars? Because you see every other car every day. The uncommon. We as men, we want what's uncommon. Now let's look at the spiritual side. When the woman with the issue of blood, when she touched the hem of Jesus' garment, he said, "Who touched me?"
Mm-hmm.
I felt virtue leave from me.
Mm-hmm. Power.
So
took power from him.
And all these women claiming, and if you're not in love with God, if you're not in love with Scripture, if you won't get mad at me that we don't read the Word, if you want to be the rib that it protects the heart, if you enjoy celebrating the head because you love being the neck, holla at me. 8 years celibate, looking for you. That's the other. Now I can't speak for my cousin, but I'm gonna let him have his say on that part. But right now, on me, I wouldn't even entertain a woman that is not in love with her potential. You don't have to be a perfect one. Her potential to learn how to be a wife. Right? That's the thing. Her openness and willingness to learn. My mama didn't do it right, or she didn't do enough, or mama was the head, and if you can see that the strength, woman, your strength is in your agreeability. Your strength is in surprising me in the different ways that you love me. Your strength is in encouraging me and being honest with me, but not cutting me down, getting that booger out my nose because you know that I represent us. So when a chick tries to holler at me, she's threatening you. And if a dude try to holler at you, he threatening us. This unit, this union. So, all right, now, to finish that out, because I often get on a rant and I leave the point, but I got to bring it back. The kind of mate, the kind of soul you choose must be able to remain your friend. Nothing more beautiful than I would see my grandmama and my grandpa laugh together. Nothing more beautiful.
Yes. Yeah. You ain't lying. It was to see those anniversaries, and the numbers was double digit.
And they had problems, but they never argued in front of them. I never seen them argue.
I have. Oh, Lord.
I never seen them.
But I'm going to tell you what he did. He said, "Cat."
See? Now she had a man.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And he put his foot down. He ain't never put his hands on her.
Never.
And they ain't never, what did that, mama?
Both of them stood their ground. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. We talking about back people. One that came from Arkansas, one that came from Memphis, Tennessee. Both of them stood their ground with each other. That's how they were raised. But the one thing they did is they came to common ground and they knew one thing, and this is what I truly believe in, and this is the problems with I believe in my relationships, is that when they got heated, they separated. Mm-hmm. And they knew that it wasn't going to end anything, but that separation got them to calm down, and when they came back together as one, everything was fine, because after he and her argued, we went with him to our Uncle Benny's to play around and run around on the farm, and he sat there. Fish. Yep, right there until dusk. And when dusk come, let's go. We got in that car and went back home. When we got back home, guess what? Food was ready without talking. Because they didn't have cell phones back then, y'all.
But the food was hot and on the table.
Oh, yeah, it was ready. She knew what time he was coming back. She knew that he was upset and he left. And you know what I'm saying? He took the grandkids with us and he was going to go talk to his brother. And she knew he was coming back at a certain time because she knew his bedtime. Because why? Those double-digit years and that anniversary years. Just getting to know one another.
The understanding, in other words, my cousin was saying, the understanding that they came to. There is a duty to family.
Well, that too. We see back when you said
that's the bottom line. There's a duty to family, because if they would have left each other, none of us would even be close. If she would have waited till he went to Uncle Benny and Aunt Lula Mae house and cheated with the mailman or the superintendent at the school she used to be a secretary or a teacher at, if she would have went out on him out of spite and vengeance, can you imagine? Y'all, you got to see the spiritual significance. She decided to keep the door closed to evil. She did not bring them spirits in the house.
It was understanding because they followed, they directed their life.
A deeper understanding than just how one of them felt at the time.
Basic instructions before leaving Earth. That's what they did. Is they based sometimes off that book, because every Sunday my grandmother got us up to go to church. My grandfather didn't wake up for Sunday school, but he was at church when we started. So when we started church service after Sunday school, running around with our, Can't Stop, Be Still. When we started church, we turned around and looked. Guess where he was sitting? Right in that front row. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Brother Johnson. You know what I'm saying? He'd get up. He was a deacon. He didn't like to do too much, but he did get up from time to time and he did his thing. But that's what made them stay focused in their relationship, focused and see the prize, the end result. You know what I mean? And that was us. You know what I mean?
That's right. Uncle Jimmy was in the choir.
Oh yeah, man.
I remember all that.
Show. Him, Frank, Mike. Oh yeah, they used to get it in, man. I'm trying to tell you. That way, life was simpler back then, but it's not. The problem with what's going on in the homes right now is that we have allowed society to, like I said, this is the first part one, is that we've allowed society to enter our homes and change the way we live.
It. The world can be crazy outside, y'all.
Yeah.
But like Cuz just said, you can still have that in your home.
God, yes.
Your home is supposed to be a place of peace. And to finish my point, when a woman, she claims to be a virtuous woman and all this, and let's build and all that game. Look, if she does not bring peace and healing, because as men, and especially men of color, my Caucasian brothers, I love y'all, but if you have not walked in the shoes, all you can do is admire the sneakers. When the world beats us up for so many different reasons, you can find it in Deuteronomy chapter 28. You can find it in Esau and Jacob's story in Genesis chapter 25 through 36, where Japheth left and his brothers hated on each other. And it's just a reality of what happened. Even our own, to the west, Ham's sons, the darker race, sold out Shem to the Atlantic slave trade. So ever since, it's been light skin versus dark skin, nappy hair versus good hair. Let me tell y'all, here at 53 years old, if your hair covers your head, it's good hair. Oh, back to the point. There is a disconnection. Selfishness has robbed you women of your ability to be loving and nurturing, and that is your strength. That is your virtue. To be loving. In a nurturing way. They do guide in a nurturing way. To me, a
woman's position is a woman
keep the house in a certain kind of loving way.
Yep, a woman is kind of me like the when you look at a house, you know what I mean? It's like she is to, when the man says, we're gonna go there, that woman says, all right, I will prepare us to go. And when she prepares, that's all she sets that direction, gives the man all he needs to get them to that point. But she has to put in her work and don't beat him down. Don't beat him up. You beat a man up, you break him down, you don't change. And I'll tell you what, he will go somewhere else where he can be celebrated. I'll tell you this right now. I'm just gonna give you a quick rundown right now. And this is all from experience, though. This is what it is. And I'll just give you, relationship 101 for me, my relationship 101 for the beginning. I'll tell you the change that happens. When I first met my first wife, not saying not first wife, only one wife. But right. When I first met my wife, a relationship I was into her. I wasn't into her. Then I became into her. And then when she was into someone else, I lost that interest. Nothing has been the same. Second relationship I got into, same thing, into her. When I realized there was someone else, nothing worked out, and it struggled. Third relationship, Lord have mercy, same thing. You know what I mean? The problem is that soul tie. If you don't, the problem, and I look at it like this: if you don't concentrate on your relationship, stop letting everybody else in it. You know what I mean? And you can do it socially; it doesn't matter. But with the reactions of it, I lost a friend because of he came to me and said, my daughter this, my daughter that, and I'm like, whoa! I said, well, I'm gonna tell you what, I wouldn't allow that, because you're talking to a person who's raising 3 girls on his own. I wouldn't allow that because I wasn't. This is me. I all started with I. I never said, hey, go do this and go do that and go do this and go do that. That's not my place. But what he did is he took the information and everything he got from me, and I'm wondering if he came to me for that information to try to figure out what to do and how to do it. So when he came to me for that information, and when he took it back home, he got pounded. His wife pounded him and said, what's good for his family is not good for this family. So why is you over there? Why is you
the draws anyway?
See, well, and I'm sitting there. So when it came down to it, this friendship in which we had since we were 8 years old, and here we are in our 40s, this relationship which we had ended because his wife made him think, or made him believe somehow, that I was influencing him on how to run his family. And I sat back and I thought about it, and I said,
"Did she know you?"
Oh yeah. We've been knowing each other since. Double. That's what I'm saying. So I said, what? And I said, dude, where is you go? Who told? Well, this is what I said. You know what? And I turned around and walked away from it, y'all. Why did I walk away from it? Like I said, something came in. I don't know what it was, and Cuz explains it to me, quite a few times. It's a spirit, and I've heard this before from someone else who I knew, I know, I don't even say knew, but who tells me about these spirits that, you know what I mean? If something happens when someone goes off, don't get mad at that person for that person going off. It's a spirit who gets in front of that person, gets into that person and turns that person into a different person. I deal with it every day. I sit back and talk to someone comes up in there and, I'm thinking, we label it as bipolarism.
Or multiple personality disorder.
Oh, it's schizophrenic. Oh, you're crazy. Oh, it's and I'm like...
But the influence, because we're already born with gene rash and curses that we got from our mother and our father.
We are. But we can break those.
Yeah, those can be broken.
Yes.
And we cannot continue the cycle by allowing our children to date before they fall in love with themselves and their purpose and have a healthy, rich, wholesome understanding of who Creator God is.
It's just like this, cuz think about it. Back in the 50s, 40s, and 50s, girls were turning 13 years old and they didn't have time to realize who the heck they were because some grown ass, excuse my French, y'all,
or even a boy their age.
Yeah,
but they took their focus and everything in the 50s,
40s, and 50s. No, men. Men were giving their daughters away to men. You know what I mean? At a young age. So 13, 14 years old, this woman that went from
married, that was regular.
Right. This woman that went from just a year ago having the worst pain that she didn't know what was happening to her, bleeding down there, to now she's getting ready to give birth.
I don't know if she didn't know what was happening to her bleeding.
Yes.
I don't know. If her parents, that's back when home life was real. That's back when people sat down and ate dinner together. Yeah. That's back when people talked about life.
Yeah.
So imagine now, do you think we're in a worse state? Because back then, family was tight, love was real, people were challenged, they looked at each other in the eye, they talked about how their day was, they were concerned about what's going on at school and the kind of kids that they were hanging around. So for a man to say, I have raised a good girl, hand her over to a mature man, I'm going to tell you right now, just entering my 50s, just entering this stage of my life, I would rather have a young woman that's been blew out sexually, taken in so many withdrawals that all the spirits that men deposit in women from having sex, all the soul ties, all the spiritual influence that goes into a woman when she's young, vital, vibrant, loving, healthy, and can be taught. Her heart has not been so hardened right by this time. I would rather have, and I'm not saying 13 or 14, of course. I'm saying young enough, before she gets too wore out. And golly, you're almost saying 15, 13.
I can't.
But I would never even consider that.
I think.
You see the issue though? By the time a woman gets to a certain age, she is hardened. She's been used. She's been lied to. She's been already that thing that she's born with, a distance from men. It's been confirmed time and time and time again. Dude doesn't have sex with her sister, her cousin, her mama, her friend. How can she even trust men at this point?
True.
And with us not being taught how to be men.
Now, let's key in on that one there. That's a good one.
That's just being fair to our women.
How can a man, be the man of the house when he didn't have a male influence teaching him?
You know what? On my mama's side of the family, I remember I don't even know if you ever really kicked it with Ernest and Eric and Anson and Jason and Vincent and them.
No, not much.
Well, my older cousins was pimping. They was always pimping. And they was the party at Skater World, at Roller World. They was the ones that were coming there with the big fluffy balls on their skates, and all the girls. Well, that was back when light skin was in style. And they used to tell me, when a B word is sleep, nigga, You gotta play this song. What's that SOS band song? I don't care about you, just be good to me. They would tell me play these songs while she's sleeping, get it in her subconscious, nigga. And little tricks of the trade. They're telling me I should be a pimp, and I never that. I just the gorilla slap them up. You better have my money. That I could never. I don't believe. Now you need to go hard. A man does need to establish his authority and his masculinity and his leadership and all that. I do absolutely believe in that. But the immoralization, the demoralization, the demeaning of in the name of humanity and what a woman really is, whether even them strong masculine chicks, they have a little girl inside them. They just hide it. So it's up to a real man to figure these things out. I learned, and this is the reason why I started with my older cousins on mama's side, because I learned what not to do. I remember being 7 years old saying, when I get big, I ain't never gonna call my woman no bitch. When I get big, I ain't never gonna slap my girlfriend. I'm gonna treat her good. I remember being 6, 7 years old saying that, bro.
But so what you're saying is that so it's self-taught for a man to be the man of the house.
I'm saying, it's a law in our nature, in our conscience. You don't talk back to your mama. You don't rob a store. You don't kill somebody. I mean, it's a natural law from when you're a child. You know what's right and what's wrong. When we doing little bad stuff and then we hear them coming and before they get to the door, we stop.
Now, does a woman to say, so, cuz, I want you to go back and think about this. Because are you saying, you and I were both raised by single women?
Luckily, I had uncles and older cousins, but yeah.
I ain't gonna let that one. So my thing is so what? How you gauged off learning?
True.
I had from not having.
I'm a little bit different. I'm probably the wrong catalyst to measure by, because I was homeless from 15, 16 to almost 30. Mm-hmm. So the world and the street and watching people and human behavior and hanging out with the winos in the park and what people, the body language, I learned in different ways. Okay. But I guess the average young man, without somebody there to teach him, trial and error, and you make the kind of mistakes at such a young age that it either forms you and this is how you do, and you become the way you think this is it. Whether you're successful or not, it becomes a toxic routine that you learn how to. I got a cousin that could talk a naked woman out of panties. Chew that up.
Yeah, I get you.
And he was a con artist his whole life. Yeah. He got me a job. We was kids, like 16. He got me a job by acting like a referral agent. I don't even know where he got these ideas, because he was like 14 at the time. I was a couple years older than him. Mm. You know what I mean? He got me a job at Food Town on Madison and Hall.
See, myself, you know what I mean? I sit back and I think about this too, and I wonder where I picked it up from too. Besides, the only thing I could think of is my mama.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because my daddy wasn't around,
and Grandpa wasn't that expressive.
He died in 1987. No, I picked up a lot of what, you know what I'm saying, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like most of the things, when I first felt comfortable enough to get under an engine and actually work on a car, it's from watching him and Uncle Jimmy underneath that car.
Oh yeah.
From time after time.
But the kind of man that'll sit down and relate spirituality to racism and being so-called
he didn't talk. He didn't talk to us about none of that. It was kind of quiet, and I think he did that because of his past experiences and probably everything he's going through. He didn't have anything positive to say.
That's another reason we need a man and a woman, because Mom would talk to us about stuff.
Yes, she would.
We need that balance of male and female energy, y'all. I'm going to let him finish, but that's another shining example right there.
Yeah, that is so true. But so what I gathered from that was, watching my mama struggle and realizing that, assistance in which she was getting from a state she could get from a man,
Yes, sir.
because the state wasn't giving us anything extra or more or even enough.
Right.
They go by a basic
Yeah,
calculation.
that's why we have rice for dinner all the time and oatmeal for
Yeah,
dinner. Yeah.
Basic formula, basic calculation to give you the basic necessities.
Mhm.
And if
Hot
you,
dogs.
and you can't survive off that, I'm gonna give you this processed food, and hopefully you'll die before you get, you know what I'm saying, before you're too aged. That way you ain't gotta worry. America ain't
Remind
gotta
me
worry
after you
about
finish your point, cuz, so I don't forget, I want to get to sex. How all this plays out in the bedroom. Go ahead, though.
So what needs to happen, you know what I'm saying, is that I think, you know, is every man, young man, every woman needs to embed into the youth, young men that are coming up into this world, the word stability, sustainability.
Come on.
It all works together. Is you need to understand that what is sustainability, what is stability, and that is faith. Find your faith. I ain't gonna say punch it into these little boys, but talk to them. Get in their head, say something, and so in that way, when we get older, we can change this problem with the broken families, with the kids growing up not having fathers, with the fathers running around here sleeping with 1,000 different women. Because we go back to that statistic in which we had, you know, part one, where
bringing the spirits into the house.
Right, 102 men for every 100 women. I mean, come on, you know what I mean? Like that's telling me to.
The other part too, y'all women quit trying to wear y'all daughters little tight stuff, trying to go to the club with your daughter.
Yeah,
her turning 21 should not be you and her at the club showing your breasts and your tail to total strangers and laughing with each other about who got the most numbers.
See,
that is sick.
But this is where I go. This is where I go with that, cousin. This is where, you know what I mean. And I just be honest with everybody out there. This statement that is made to me, which always sticks with me, is God, because they say God knows your heart. So you can portray a person to everybody out here in society that you want to portray to them. But the reality of it is God knows your heart. What is really you? Are you happy with who you're portraying? Is it really you, or is you doing it for a facade? Are you doing it for attention? Is you doing it for
that?
You know what I mean? What is you doing this for?
Answer that.
Because what you're doing with these kids is watching it. Like I grew up, and we made a statement before the cameras turned on. I grew up looking at
That's what kids do.
At a certain standard of life, and that standard of life, when I realized it, I'm like, that question is, so I'll be doing that?
See, that's the opposite. I was like, oh, I can't wait till I get big so I can do it. I'm gonna do it all the time. You know what I mean? I did have that thought.
I mean, mine was like, oh, so I'll be doing that? Like, is that what? And when I started realizing, like, the work and the effort and the everything it takes to put into doing it, I was like, what the? Wait a minute. You know what I mean? And then the problems that came along with it.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute.
Now you can weigh it out with the spiritual influence. Now, have you ever just met a woman just pleasant? But see, women, when y'all meet a good dude, you call him a square. You want the bad boy. Or you want the spineless dude, the square that you can control.
Yes, man. Yes, man. That's what they call it.
You know what I mean? There is got to be. First of all, y'all got to look in the mirror. You just said it, cuz. Who are you? Are you happy being you?
Man, are you? That's everybody in this world.
Everybody got to ask themselves that. Do you even know what better is?
What are you striving for?
You know, if you find a sponsor, can you get into the mold to make him look good? Or is you going to be tripping that he flued you out? When you put perfume on a pig, either you're going to be, see, that's a selfish or giving. It all comes back to your character and your loving nature and your nourishing. When y'all realize that your real power is not in your ability to get a man's, not using your body like bait, Your real power is not your manipulation or your feminine skills. Your real power is your agreeability, your ability to love and nourish. Samson did not fall victim to none of them hoes. The one that he felt he could lay his head on her lap and rest, that was what got him. And that's what a man needs. If you doing like every other chick out here, you got your nails painted all these crazy colors, and you got that one nail painted a different color, why are you doing that?
What is the now you say the two? What is
Is
that?
everybody else doing that?
What is that? You know,
It's some fad that started that caught everybody off guard. I didn't even see it coming.
I didn't
One
either.
chick.
Somebody
on
tell me what that is
YouTube,
too. When you see that, please put that in the comments. I'd like to read that. Or
Why
do
do you
whatever.
do it?
Why do you
If it's
paint
to
that?
be individual,
Now-
but you know everybody do it.
I know why women don't put when they get their nails done. They put them fake nails. I know why they don't put that one nail on there.
Oh, we know that.
Yeah, I know why that happens. I mean, shame on you. But
Hey, at least you're not. Nah, I'm not gonna condone it, but
shame.
everybody is where they are on their journey.
It is what it is. That's why
I myself have masturbated and felt like, well, at least I ain't involving nobody else in my sin.
I just made a comment yesterday. I was talking to
That's not to condone it, because that's the most selfish act you could ever do.
I was talking to Christy yesterday, and I made a comment, and I said, what did I say? I said something about, I said, when I was young, I said, I used to wear myself out. And she said, what? She said, what? I was like, what you mean? I was like, girl, you jack off all the time.
Yeah.
She like, oh my God, come on. You know what I
That's
mean?
a fact of life. Everybody
Right.
know,
Like,
what, 12, 13?
yeah, what's
We're
happening
in
to
the
me?
bathroom with the J.C. Penney magazine looking at the
Right, that's what I told her. Oh, we're talking about Vaseline. I told her, I was like, Vaseline. I said, girl, you said Vaseline all the time. She said,
Man.
but no, and that's a good segue into, because getting ready to talk to y'all, you know what I'm saying, which I'm sure I got a comment about what are you going to say about sex and men and women and the problem within the home. And I think the problem why the home doesn't get stable, and we'll go back to stability. The problem why the problem doesn't get stable is that when a man walks into a home, and most times everybody out there knows it's on the first night, or somehow he gets himself back in there. But what it is he ends up, and I'm a victim of this myself too, victim, and I don't even call him a victim. Lord have mercy, that's the wrong thing to say. I'm guilty of that first one night stand crap myself.
Oh, man.
And it was not because of my doing, because I'm not that type of person. But the problem is I was drunk. I was under the influence. I allowed this to get into my body and change my way of thought. And I woke
What's
up in the
another
morning.
name for liquor and beer? What you see on the store? What do it say? If they're selling beer and liquor, they call it spirits.
Oh,
That's all I'm gonna say about that. It's no coincidence, y'all.
yeah. No, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll take that back to a movie I saw here. I took the time to make some spirits for y'all, and I was like, but yeah, that right there it's a problem to me with the reason why homes don't grow. Stability, the problem is because when you enter the home, and see, I figured that too. I met a girl years ago, and I figured that a woman, I know, excuse my French, Lord, I'm gonna keep her as a girl because that's how her actions.
Just be real with it.
Yep, her actions. A girl. I met a girl years ago, and I did not do this. I came over to her house after the bar, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm looking at her, beautiful, y'all. You hear me? The word beautiful is not even a freaking word when it comes to, you know what I'm saying, this woman. And then her conversation was stimulating. Everything about it was stimulating now. But I looked at her in the eyes at night, and I said, if this is to go any further, I got to go home. And I did.
Oh, man, I told women, if you let me hit it the first night, I won't respect you.
No,
I'm going to just be honest and real. I'm not going to think about you later. And, I used to brag on that because I've never had I had one night stand, and that was not intentional. Later on, she told me she had a dude. She lied and said she didn't have a dude, but because I curve up and I do it a certain way and I want to please my woman in every way, not the biggest, but I said I curve up and it hit some spots, you understand me? And
I try not to laugh.
hey, real life, let it be known. I'm telling you. So she said, the way you did, my boyfriend don't do it like that. I can't keep seeing you. And all right, kick me in the back of the head for doing a great job. But to lie to say she did not have a dude.
Do you think women use that as a mental thing? Because I was told the same thing
Absolutely.
too. Oh,
they get a pass.
You the best I ever been with.
Well, the reason that, first of all, if her dude cheated, she gonna pay him back. That's her pass. In their mind, instead of saying, what did I do to lose the vigor that you... Everybody know how a relationship starts.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how good the sex is that first month or two? I'm talking about you can't stay off of each other.
Right.
You rush home from work at lunch.
Yep.
You want her to, girl, I can smell you on my... I didn't even brush my teeth this morning because, oh, you taste so good. I can't wait to... how good it is in the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, there is something that happens with pride, selfishness, stubbornness, the unwillingness to hear what that person is trying to say, unable to wait your turn to talk, not really interested because you want to prove your point and how you right and they wrong.
Right.
Something happens from the initial stages where you used to do the freakiest stuff, and now you're lucky you don't even kiss no more while you do it. And I've been in situations where I was hitting it from the back, looking at the ceiling, like, would you hurry up and like, and my heart wouldn't even. I had no business giving myself to her.
Right.
So my motive was wrong, because love is a savior. God is love. Sex can't save a relationship. Now that we've learned the real definition of relationship, sex is not it. Sex is what solidifies it. But when your motive for laying down with somebody is selfish or manipulation, without the spirit knows what the body won't tell. Oh, I got to get that on a t-shirt. The spirit knows what the body won't tell. Your soul, your mind, your will, your emotions, and your spirit, your life force energy, when you come into another vessel and y'all have sex, understand it's way more than penis and vagina going on. There are so many conditions where you're so wide open. And we got to count the spiritual side too, that the lust in her and the lust in him, they both need to be fed. They join an unholy union when you're doing it outside of the law of marriage. I don't care what y'all say. And I don't think the government or the city clerk has anything to do with marriage. I don't. I think two people make vows, they commit themselves to each other, and they say their vows under God. I believe Adam and Eve didn't have no judge and no court clerk. I believe they knew they were made for each other, and they committed, and they this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. And she was in agreement mentality. See, she was in agreement. She was in agreement mentality with the head. I think if you go there, nothing you cannot work out. And there is a lot of things. Now, again, women, how you choose your man. Because if you choose a cheater, you choose a cheater. You're not the only pretty one. You're not the only one that do sloppy toppies. You're not the only one that know how to snap him up, that snapper. You're not the only one that can put on a t-shirt and do that one thing with your feet.
Right.
You're not the only one. And you know it's 3 or 4 women to every man. So your concern should be, how did the old folks, the old timers, how did they keep their men?
Interesting.
Let's look at it like that, because
Interesting.
how many old people are still alive? They got us, y'all. Pork and diabetes, and all the old folks is dying, and a lot of wisdom is leaving with the old folks. So now here I am. I'm not old. I'm young enough to do my thing and old enough to do it well and enjoy it.
Right.
The perfect time in my life where I'm still strong, and my opinions are based on wisdom, experience, and something that youth cannot fake or buy. And I tell, and by buy I mean purchase. Ain't no need for pause. And I tell these younger ones what the deal, and they say, "Oh, that's old fashioned." You know, don't know about these days. We just do whatever we feel like doing. Do you know that is the satanic vow and pledge? Do as thou feelest. Do what thou will. Your will over God's standard. Do you know how many demons you invite into your home? And when I say home, I don't just mean under your roof. I mean into your person. When you deny or reject God's word, because God is the word, He is the word. When you deny that standard, when you don't even leave a place open in your heart to want to be better than your own limited human standard. Let's face it, most of us have only been on this earth for 50, 60, 80 years, and then we out.
Right. And that's actually dwindled that's probably around 71 now because of COVID. So everybody, that life expectancy has dropped. Everybody.
Major.
So keep that in mind too as you out there just running life like you just good to go.
Okay.
You ain't gonna be here as long as you.
Because let me say one thing, and then I want you to run with the sexual thing, all right, and how it's psychological and emotional.
No, that I thought that's what you were doing.
Oh, that was just an intro.
Oh, yes.
Let me say this real quick about makeup, women. The eyes are the window to the soul. You wearing eyeliner, you are inviting perfect strangers in to look at something as precious and as sacred and unique to you and only you. You're inviting complete strangers to look into you. The eyes and the way that they hold power, right? If you read the book of Enoch, first Enoch chapter 8, it'll show you how the angels in heaven that believed Lucifer and rebelled against God and fought and were kicked out of heaven, how they were kicked to the earth in their rebellion. These are the ones that later became the fathers of Nephilim, of the ones that you now know as evil spirits or demons. These evil spirits, in hatred of God and in hatred of man, convince women to crush shells, rocks, and certain natural materials, nature, human nature, appealing to sinful human nature, right? To make blush. Now, I don't care what race or what complexion of skin you have, what happens during sex is the blood fills the face. Even under the darkest skin, even if you can't see that blush, you can feel the warmness of a blush. So when a woman puts on, they even have the nerve to call it blush. When a woman wears that, it automatically registers in a man's subconscious, whether he knows it or not. It instantly registers to him as her need for sex, or it's a sexual thing that invites him into the thought of sex. Again, the eye is a window to the soul, something passionate, something intimate. The lips, the painting the lips, any color. The vaginal lips during sex, they get full of blood and they turn bright red or bright pink or bright that pink. Oh God, forgive me, Lord. Y'all know how good that look. But what happens is it registers in a man's mind subconsciously to think about vagina, and it triggers his need to have sex because God put it in man to produce, to sow seed. This is why the man carries the seed. This is why when I see men wearing makeup, it is so ridiculous. And when women wear makeup, they don't have a clue. You ask them why they wear it, because their mama wear it. You ask mama why she wore it, because her mama wore it. And it goes back to these evicted rebel angels teaching women. Now, this is how I'm going to conclude. Imagine one woman in the tribe, one woman in your city, on the block, wearing makeup. And all the men are like, whoa. Because we desire and crave and value and appreciate and chase and go for what's uncommon. So you got this one wearing makeup, and all the other women look at how they man is looking at her. What you think they gonna do? After they talk bad, of course. They gonna go crush them up some berries and some shells or whatever and put it on, and then the men gonna look at them. But it's all a celebration of the exterior. How many people got with a chick that looked good and then a year or 2 months later wish they would have never met her? And this is for you women. This is not against you. We can talk about flaws of men all day long. And everybody does that all the time. But today, right now, I'm on this. Y'all carry and birth the children. It is crucial. If you appreciated your role, do you know only you, woman, only you, wife, only you, sis, only you, mama, only you, daughter, you can change the world? Girl power is not to be anti-man. That's a demonic doctrine that wants you to hate men because evil hates men. Girl power is supposed to mature into woman power that loves to hold her man up. Because when the man wins, we all win. The whole house wins. And shout out to my Latino, my Italiano, and other indigenous people, or all people, anybody that understands when the man of the house wins, the whole family wins. Ama cubano, y puertorriqueño, y dominicano, y toda, mexicano, toda, que they understand. I grew up in California, born in Michigan, raised in Michigan till about 8, 9, 10. Mama took us to California, and I saw the friends that I made there. Walfredo de Cuba, what's up, man? Giovanni, Richie, all my homeboys, they parents reminded me of my grandmama. If I didn't sit down and eat, they would almost be offended. They treated me like family. And I noticed that the women, the little sisters, the little girls, 8 years old, would make their brothers and the father make their plate, set their plate on the table. And then they would get their food. And a part of me was like, well, that's kind of caveman style. A little bit. It's easy to see how looking from the outside in, it would look a little bit chauvinistic. But they understood. When you feed the men, when you honor the men, when you make the little brother feel like he's a man, they're going to grow up to protect us, love us, cherish us, put their life on the line. The whole honorable thing. Woman, you can make a man feel like such a man, he'll kill King Kong for you. And only women have the power to do this if you only knew the key to talk to your man's soul, to celebrate his headship. Quit trying to be the man. Quit trying to be equal. Quit henpecking and nagging and pointing out every little thing that he's doing wrong. And talk with him and not at him. I guarantee you will see a change in that man. Why would he go anywhere else when he got a pot of gold at home? I'm going to end it on that. Go ahead, cuz.
That is a good question. And to me, that's the problem. Why that's one of the problems. I'm not going to say one is not the most, but it's one of the problems why relationships don't work out and man is always going outside the house to cheat. Because once I seen this posting on this thing, this woman says, why her? Why her? And just stared at this man is walking away from her. And she's like, why would you do this? Why? And when he turned around, I looked at her and he said, because she doesn't talk bad about me.
She lets him be a man.
Because she treats me like I'm, you know what I'm saying, like I am. She gives me, she listens to me, you know, and that kind of stuff too. And I sit back and I look at it and I think, you know, and it hit me because, you know what I'm saying, in all of my relationships, and it's sad too, and I hate this, and you know, this might end my relationship, man, hopefully it won't, but you know what I'm saying, it is what it is. But this is a show we talk truthfully and honestly, we don't hold nothing back.
That's right.
That the issue with the man not being the man of the house causes an issue.
For sure.
And I said this before in the first one, part one. If you got a man in the house, you need to treat him like the man of your house. I don't give two rats. I'll go with like PC, Parker C. Jacobs Sr. said, I don't give two rats ass if that house is in your name. But you've allowed this man to be the man of your home. And if this man is the man of your home and he's become comfortable enough to be the man of your home, and he's agreed to come into your home and allow you to be the financial whoever, and he's still the man of your home. If you don't allow him to be the man of your home, you're never going to have a happy relationship.
See? Now, if she is a victim of her father's colonialism, no matter so-called white, so-called black, if the woman has fallen for the American plan, that capitalism and her title and her ownership of the house,
see, and
if that is where her head is,
and I go like this because and I take this back to this, you know what I'm saying, and I say this, I get it. I would say like the American colonialism.
It's a mindset, bro.
I can't even say it, but because and I referred this back. This might, like I said, this can change a little bit of, what I'm saying, the way you think. Just like the Bible, you say you've got the Old Testament and New Testament. Things have changed over time. So there was this word.
The Old and the New Testament back each other up.
They back each other up.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing women should do today. Is that women should, I understand the evolution of it. I get it. You don't want to come out of that kitchen and you want to go out there and you want to make just as much money as that man by doing the same thing.
Do
you
your
want the
thing.
same
I'll cook tonight.
But understand, and that man too, if you want to be the man and you want to go out there and boast and brag about being the man of my home, when you come home, act like the man of your home.
But you know what? A real one don't boast and brag because his woman honors him in such a way.
Because I think you took it the wrong way. Not boast and brag like that. I meant boast and brag like this is my home. I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? This is I got what I got at home is what I got. I got this. I got, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause I go out there and I talk and I hear a lot of people talking. I'll be wanting to brag about my daughter too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and that's one thing I've never done throughout life. I've never posted things about my kids. My kids were on an honor roll for years. Yeah. And I've seen people say, oh, she done made me, and posted on Facebook, oh, with her grades and everything. She made me so happy. I don't want to brag and boast. I don't want people to think, oh, he just think his kids is better than everybody else's. No. You know what I mean?
That should be the standard anyway.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's the brag and boast I'm talking about. When I say brag and boast, a man goes out and he brags and boasts about his house. Well, if that's the case and you know it, don't come back into that house different, yelling your voice, changing everything, changing mentality. You're changing the way people think about what you just went and bragged about. You know what I mean? Behind closed doors, there's an issue. And that's a problem with the world in itself, people, is you act different behind closed doors. When you get those closed doors, and I understand it too, because I think it's written in the Bible that a man, when they get into that bedroom, that woman is to be submissive to whatever and he is to be submissive to whatever she, you know what I mean? It's like,
that's why I could never again even consider a real sacred friendship with a woman that doesn't understand the parameters of respect, love, honor, consideration, the ability to put on somebody else's shoes, how you give each other room to make human mistakes the first 2 years. While you're learning each other. It takes a certain maturity. It takes a certain ability to lend yourself in a vulnerable situation. But at the same time, you're not anchored by how they act or react. My anchor is in my purpose, the God that gave me my gifts, my talents, my character. And if somebody can share that depth with me, I can leave her in a room full of a bunch of Chippendale dancers of all races. And she ain't had none because we're honoring each other in celibacy until we make those vows. And I would not have to even think about the coochie will be dried in the mud. And if it gets wet because that's a natural thing, she'll tell me it's wet. Baby, come pray with me because I'm kind of liking the way this one over here slanging on my left side, whatever. And we'll have that friendship. There'll be no secrets where the devil can do his dirt in darkness and in secrets. She'll understand the friendship part of us. You dig? You carry it into the relationship so that
it's got to be established once it's got to be established
at the beginning.
Right?
It does.
We need to, as men and women, together, come together, sit down and talk. Go back into, as he stated back in the day when my grandmother told him, court her.
Find somebody worthy of courting.
During that courtship, you will find out what her likes are, what her dislikes are, how you can get in depth and talk about what she likes to do in the bedroom if that's what the conversation turns to.
Everything, and be honest.
Right, and relationships. I think we'll just have a little bit more. We'll have stronger families. We'll have stronger communities, stronger families, and people will start actually caring about everything instead of, you know what I'm saying, the houses and the homes in which we have.
And
right
understand,
now.
It's you two against the world.
God, yes.
His mama, her mama, nobody is to come in between what y'all got and what y'all building.
So true.
And if it's good and you benefit a certain way, but there are some basic foundational things that y'all just don't agree on, and neither one are willing to bend or change or grow, be honest. Don't keep benefiting from the other one and using each other.
So true.
Cut it off.
Using. That's another problem.
That's another. I love this song right here.
But I'm gonna finish with this right here, y'all. I got a couple things I'm gonna read on the way out. I want y'all to take. Please listen to this. Respond to this the way you want to respond to it. I'm not gonna leave it open right now for any response, but I'm just gonna leave this, and I want you guys to respond to it. And it says here, what are the problems with couples in relationships? Some of these common challenges may include infidelity, loss of intimacy, communication difficulties, coping with stress challenges, financial pressure, boundary violations. What boundary violations do you have in a relationship? But anyway, difficulty. You know what I mean? Come on now.
People don't take the time in the beginning.
Difficulty balancing the individual and couple expectations. Divorce, separation, and breaking up. But that, you know what I mean? That's the reason why we're talking right now, so we can avoid those last few things: divorce, separation, and breaking up. Because that's the issue, and that's why America is designed the way it is, because we have too much divorce, separation, and breaking up. And I'm not saying that, you know what I'm saying, that if it's not meant for you, it's not meant for you. Please, you know what I mean? Don't stick around in something that's going to make you miserable for life. Go be happy. But don't get started in it, what we started is that courtship.
Don't even have sex for the first 2 years. The first 2 years. If you value, if it's something in each other that you value enough, then don't wreck it.
Don't wreck it. Yeah.
Don't carry your pain and your trauma. You gotta break generational curses. You gotta repent for the sins of your fathers. That's everybody. You gotta be sure you have no soul ties with people that you had sex with in the past. You have to be sure that you're not expecting what will magnet disappointment. You have to let your balance of your lack in your life, whether you had an attentive, godly, positive vibration sharing father that taught you how to be a wife or how to be a young king, you got to weigh that or the lack of that with her parental situation and her first heartbreaks and her rejection. You have to sit down like two people, completely strip yourself of your ego, your fear of being hurt. You got to put it on the line and see if you want the same things. It's deeper than arguing over the wallpaper.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this guy. That's funny. That's almost part of the whole conversation.
Go ahead.
But it did. But what we going? One more thing here is, and this is for you women. You know what I mean? And as I told you guys at the beginning of the conversation back at part 1, this is not a biased conversation. We're not trying to.
I think we've been fair to both.
100%. You know what I mean? And I'd love to be able to have this conversation again with a female being present or on the phone, so we can definitely share both sides of the story. She can give her views, we can give our views, and we can actually hash this out and figure out what the issue is here. Because right here, I'll tell you guys, statistics states that who suffers more in a relationship, men or women? You know, and that's something to answer here, but statistics state, studies show, guys, research shows that women have a harder time coping with a breakup, but the guys are the ones who feel more stress and strain when the relationship hits a rough patch.
There's a reason that the men always die first.
Researchers found On the upside, men also get more of a psychological and emotional boost when the relationship is healthy. And that is 100% truth. That is the God mind you couldn't believe, because there's no
Any
way,
old woman to tell you.
there's no way in the world that nothing to me is more fulfilling than walking back into a home, looking around at a family in which I am the man, the head of the household, seeing everybody do their thing, and feel comfortable in my position. Know that there's nothing. But the problem is that when a man walks back in a home in these days, there's some hidden agenda,
resentment.
There's something going on. There's I don't heed this, and he this, and our youth right now are making it to where the man can't even be a man, because you can't discipline your children the way you want to discipline your children, because that is taken off of you. It is, you know what I'm saying? So we have to sit back and look and think, how can I get through to my kid? How can I? Because back in the day, I'm gonna tell you, I knew how. They knew how to get in touch with us. It was go in that basement and wait. Oh Lord.
Or go pick your own weapon of mass
Lord.
destruction.
You know what I'm saying? The most psychological destruction before you actually get to the actual, you know what I'm saying? Punishment. It's sad, but that's where we at in America, and I think we need to really stop and view.
I think what can take the place of a whooping, a good whooping, is the parent and the child loving each other enough, liking each other enough memories and enough experience together to know that each other is down for each other enough.
I don't know.
So that the parent being disappointed in the child feels like a whooping.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. When you have the psychological part of it, the psychological part of it that the parent used to throw on us by going to grab our
Not
weapon
in
of mass
manipulation, but seriously, you know I expect more of you, and I know there's more in you.
Yeah.
You shame me, you shame us as a family. The disappointment, every DI word, you said something about divorce, distance, delusion.
Men in distance.
DIE.
Stand away from your kids as much as you do. Get involved in your kids' life, regardless if you're in the home or not. That will definitely, it will spark a lot of motivation within your kids.
It's the opposite of the co-words.
Yep.
Company, uni, like uno, you and I, communication.
Communicate with your kids too. I mean, that's something I don't give a care how much. None of their business is so secretive that you can't get involved in it. And nothing that you do, and stop doing things out here to make your kids so interested because you won't tell them the truth. You know what I mean? And you're hiding from them because one day they're going to realize, I got to have that, or I want that too, because I wonder what it was that he or she was hiding from me.
That's right. Cleanse your lifestyle too. Yeah. Quit bringing spirits into your house.
Be more involved, y'all. Be more involved. Be more involved. We need to, you know what I mean? It is definitely something that, you know what I'm saying, in this world is lacking. And that's him and her stability in the home.
Happy life.
Happy life. And not happy wife brings happy life.
Not necessarily, because look, I don't care if who name on the thing. I ain't sleeping on no couch because you stankin'. We end the argument by I'll throw a green bean at your head and start a food fight, and we end up grinding it out on the kitchen table. We end an argument like that.
Right.
We don't let distance and stank attitude be what lords inside of us against each other.
I thought that's the way relationships were supposed. I mean, I thought that's how fights were supposed to end.
It is possible.
Female.
It is possible.
When you guys fight, you end up in a room talking about it. Whatever happens. But that's why I think that stress that build up, you go release it. You know what I mean? And that's how I grew up thinking that that's what happened. But
role play, make it interesting, y'all.
Yeah, it's just not the way it works out these days. So.
And we can do a part 3 if y'all suggest it. You know, but what you said about having a guest, a female or two.
I'd like to try to put together a guest now.
That would be beautiful.
I would like to put together, regardless of whatever the topic may be, I'd like to put together a guest to come sit down with us and talk on possibly the next podcast. I don't care whoever we can get to come over and sit, or whoever we can get to join via
phone,
Teams.
video.
You know, if they agree to it, we'll talk to them and I'll set them up. I'll go to them and set them up on their phone so that way they can get involved and just talk. I would love to be able to do it, regardless of whoever it is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We definitely, you know what I'm saying, that would be a good ending.
We had number what? This
9.
is number 10?
9,
Along with
10.
my
This is 10.
upload.
Yep.
This is number 10.
11.
This is our anniversary.
When we 11, because when we started Well, if you want to look, it's 11 then because when we started, I said 8. Ain't this number 8? So we did 8. Yours was 9.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is 10. Okay, then
Yeah, this is number 10.
I'll be
This is our anniversary show, y'all.
moving along.
Yes, sir.
Moving along. And we end this on a good note today. Stay positive.
Challenge your selfishness.
Yes, pay it forward. But
Keep a clean conscience.
and that doesn't mean financial. It could be mental. It could be knowledge as well too. Pay it forward, whatever it is. And just don't stop. As a society, as a culture, let's not stop, y'all. Let's keep going. When the end comes, ain't nothing we gonna be able to do about it.
Oh, and it's on the way. Oh, that's gonna be the next one, y'all.
I'm telling you.
Everything happening with Israel and the dollar about to fail, and yeah, we need each other more than ever, y'all. We need to practice real love. Now more than ever. Never mind your denomination. It's nothing to do with that. Everybody do me one favor and go look up John chapter 17, verses 20 through 23. Save yourself. It's finna get nasty.